In a small town in Mississippi, where prejudice still simmered beneath the surface, a young black woman named Amara had just moved into the community. She was quiet but confident, carrying an air of strength that made people take notice. She had come to take care of her ailing grandmother, who had lived in the same house for decades, enduring the whispers and cold stares of a town that had never fully accepted her. Amara's arrival hadn't gone unnoticed. A local gang of white supremacists known as the Iron Sons had been keeping tabs on her. They were infamous in the area for their intimidation tactics, burning crosses, vandalizing homes, and occasionally worse. Seeing Amara walking freely and unapologetically through town seemed to ignite their hatred one evening. As Amara walked home from the grocery store, the Iron Sons decided to teach her a lesson. 5 of them, clad in leather jackets adorned with their gang insignia, followed her down a dimly lit street. They jeered and hurled slurs, their boots crunching against the gravel as they closed in. Amara didn't quicken her pace. She didn't even glance back. She just kept walking, calm and composed. The leader of the group, a tall, burly man named Roy, finally stepped in front of her, blocking her path. The others formed a semicircle around her, their malicious intent clear. "Looks like you're lost, girl," Roy sneered. "This ain't your kind of neighborhood." Amara looked up at him, her expression unreadable. Slowly, she set her grocery bag down on the ground. Without a word, she removed her jacket, revealing a sleeveless black tank top. That's when they saw it, the tattoo. It stretched across her shoulder and down her arm, intricate and ancient-looking. At first, the gang members didn't understand what they were looking at. Then Roy's face turned pale. One of the younger men took a step back, his eyes wide with fear. The tattoo wasn't just any design. It was a striking depiction of a protective African tribal symbol, interwoven with symbols of strength and resilience. But what truly terrified them was the face of a man etched into the design, a hauntingly lifelike image of a black Union soldier from the Civil War, staring straight ahead with piercing eyes. Beneath the soldier's portrait were the words, "See my ancestors' wildest dreams." Roy stumbled backward, his bravado crumbling. Where'd you get that?" he stammered. Amara finally spoke, her voice steady and low. She glanced at her arm. "This is my family. My blood. My ancestors who fought and died so I could stand here today. They're watching you right now." The wind seemed to pick up, whistling eerily through the trees. The gang members glanced around, suddenly paranoid. The youngest one swore he heard whispers, voices carried on the wind, low and mournful. Another thought he saw a shadow move in the corner of his eye. Amara took a step toward Roy, who stumbled back further. "You think you scare me?" she asked, her voice calm, but cutting. "You think you're the first to try and break me? My people have survived worse than you. And we're still here one by one." The gang members began to retreat, their fear overtaking their hatred. Roy tried to bark an order, but his voice cracked, and no one listened. Within moments, they were gone, running down the street like children fleeing from a nightmare. Amara picked up her groceries, put her jacket back on, and continued home. She didn't look back. The story of that night spread through the town like wildfire. No one from the Iron Sons ever bothered Amara again. In fact, the gang disbanded entirely within a few months, its members haunted by what they had seen or thought they had seen that night. As for Amara, she continued to walk the streets with her head held high. Her tattoo wasn't just ink on skin. It was a reminder of the strength she carried within her, the legacy of those who came before her, and the unshakable power of knowing who you are. And in the quiet moments, when the wind whispered through the trees, she felt her ancestors walking beside her as they always had.